Let's talk about this with Tom Henderson in chat. Let's see what Tom has written about a new upcoming Respawn Star Wars game. Everybody knows Respawn. I mean, Respawn is fantastic. Other than technical performance on launch, they tend to do a very, very good job. And you know, they're kind of magicians with their stuff. And apparently they're not giving up on the Star Wars IP. You know, they're still working on it. One of the things they're working on, as Tom reports here, Respawn is developing a first-person Star Wars Mandalorian game. It's one of those ideas you hear about it and it's like, that makes why have we not done this already? You know, it's one of those concepts where it's like, oh, duh, of course, yeah. It's why haven't we been doing this the whole time? Insider gaming sources have revealed that Respawn Entertainment is developing a first-person Star Wars Mandalorian game that is in its early stages of development. Oh, damn, it's still early. According to sources, the game will see the player take control of a Mandalorian bounty hunter, unclear who, set during the time when the Galactic Empire is dominating across the galaxy. It's your job as a bounty hunter to capture bounties dead or alive for cash rewards. Interesting. This is a type of game, I swear to God, where a freaking nemesis system would be so freaking cool. Just imagine, like, you know, you go across the galaxy hunting these weird alien guys, and then they maybe break free, they break out, or they pay their bounty or pay their bond and then escape out, and you have to catch them again and they remember you. Like, there were so many cool things they could have done with the nemesis system. Of course, that's Warner Brothers. This is Disney. It's separate, so there's not crossover. Maybe they can get away with some sort of version of it, but man, a nemesis system in a game like this would be so cool. As first reported by VentureBeat's Jeff Grubb, the game was being led by Respawn creative director Mohamed Alavi, who left the studio to pursue his next adventure. According to Grubb, who didn't disclose it was a Star Wars game at the time, but has recently, the game will be focused on mobility and style as guiding principles. That makes sense, because mobility is something Respawn is very, very good at. I mean, just Google Apex Legends movement and you'll be blown away and you'll feel like a terrible gamer. Sources have since revealed that Alavi was not directing this game and instead was directing a canceled Apex Legends game, which was first reported by Bloomberg. Interesting. Okay, so he was not actually directly involved with that. The game's high mobility has been made possible storytelling wise thanks to the Mandalorian's jetpack, which allows the player to perform horizontal dashing, vertical jumping, boost sliding, somewhat similar to sliding down hills in Apex Legends, and more. Sources describe the game as very fast paced and as such will reward players who play in this style. For example, the player's health will remain regenerate based on successive kills. So high aggression, high reward, makes sense. As to be expected, playing as a Mandalorian bounty hunter gives the player a wide variety of weapons, gadgets, including a wrist rocket, grapple hook, a visor for tagging enemies and bounties, and more. Interesting.
Andres
So a lot.
Tello Marinas is now a member. Love Respawn, but they need to fix that running animation though.
Don't you find it kind of funny though? Don't you like it? The weird kind of it's not a bug, it's a feature. I don't know. In Star Wars Jedi or Fallen Order and Star Wars Survivor, those running animations, man, they're very weird. It looks like he has a pole up his butt. It's always been a little weird. I don't know why it looks so weird, but it just does. And I'm glad I'm not the only one that sees it. Anyway, as they go on, as to be expected, playing a wide variety of weapons, gadgets, visor, tagging enemies, bounties, more. It's understood that the game will not be an open world and have linear levels taking place on a variety of different planets in the Star Wars universe. While it's unclear when the game will be released, it said it's still a year or two away at the very least. It's currently unclear if the game will have a multiplayer experience or not. What do you think of Mandalorian? I mean, to me, if it's just like a series, it almost sounds like Mandalorian Doom. You know? If it's like linear levels or arena combat encounters with high mobility and movement, different weapons and stuff, it sounds like Doom in space with Mandalorian jetpacks and stuff. And that's not necessarily a bad concept. I mean, I think that could be super fun. It's not clear if it's going to be like narrative heavy, if they're going to try to focus on storytelling with it. I would guess, you know, if they go in with all of this work on it, it probably has potential for a multiplayer component. But it seems like nowadays it's pretty rare to have games that launch with single player stuff and then also a multiplayer mode on the side. It seems like usually the main focus is on one over the other. So I don't know. It could be interesting though. Probably more like Dishonored in space. Dishonored just relies so heavily on like level environments. Doom is already in space unless Mars is not considered in space. I guess. I guess technically you could say anything is in space. You could say a game set on Earth is in space, because technically we're in space. So I guess yeah, we could be pedantic about it. But with this, it's an interesting concept. I think a Mandalorian first-person game makes sense. I think that has potential, especially with the show. I think people would try it and enjoy it. As for what exactly it looks like, if it's being pitched as like Dishonored with these mechanics, that could be interesting. If it's more narrative, tying individual levels together, high replay value, that could be interesting. The high mobility and movement makes me think more of Doom, which could be fine. I mean, I'm okay with that. But it's going to be interesting to see kind of how this pans out. I mean, Respawn knows what they're doing. I think that it'll be great either way, but I'd like to know what more specifically they're trying to do with it, because this is a very broad concept so far, and I'm sure we're going to hear more about it and find out more about it. Dishonored but Star Wars could be really great. Giving the player an open-ended sandbox for stealth or outright gunfights could be great. Correct me if I'm wrong, I've not watched The Mandalorian. I'm no expert in this. I know my name is Luke, so people expect me to be a big Star Wars fan, but I think because my name is Luke, I've generally been hesitant to get involved with it. But is the Mandalorian like heavy on stealth? Is that a thing? Is it like a major narrative component, or is it more gun blasting, get in there, get your hands dirty? I genuinely don't know. More gun blazing. It's more of a Western. He's more of a gunslinger. So like the thing with Dishonored is it made sense. You're like playing as an assassin, so it makes sense that you're going to stealth your way through levels. If the Mandalorian is much more focused on like gunslinging and being rash and just getting in there, getting crazy, I think that could lead to more fun, especially if like regenerative health and stuff is tied to successive kills and maintaining aggression. I think that they're going for more of a Doom gameplay style than a Dishonored gameplay style. That's what it makes me think of. I just can't with Star Wars anymore. We need a break from the franchise, TV included. I don't know, man. It's how long do you think it is until they do just another trilogy? Because I think episode 3 was 2006 or 2005, 2006, somewhere in there. And then they started with this latest trilogy, maybe 2017, like 11 years later, I think it was. So are they just going to wait till like 2028? That's not that far away. Well, I guess it was after the last film. So I guess the last film was what, 2021? So I guess it'd be like 2032 or 2033 or something. Was it really 2015? Was it that far? Really? Wow. So yeah, it's honestly not that far away probably. Like they probably going to start working on it within a few years. Man, it's okay. People have forgotten how bad the last trilogy was. Let's try again. Let's give it another shot. It'll be fine this time. I promise. It'll be cool. It'll be cool.